automatically. Okay? So let's go through and let's apply this theorem to a problem. So the first problem that I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this function, f of x equals x squared plus x over x minus 1, okay? And I'm going to give you the closed interval of 5 halves and 4, okay? So I want you to first of all think about this sort of situation. I want to know is the intermediate value theorem guaranteed on the x value of c? And then we're also going to find out is can we have, well, here's the question. Explain, let me write it out. Explain why IVT, which is the intermediate value theorem, guarantees a x value of c where f of c equals 6. And then it says, and find c. Okay, so this is how this is applied. But the first thing, there's two things you kind of have to do. You need to think about the problem first. The first thing you need to think about is it continuous? Now, it's continuous between 5 halves and 4. So before you even start using the intermediate value theorem, you need to know it's continuous between 5 halves and 4. Well, look at the function. This is what our function is. What is the only place where you, looking at this function, the only value of x, where it is not going to be continuous? Well, if I look here, what number would make that equal to 0? And if I think about it, it's going to be positive 1. Okay? Now, our interval is 5 halves and 4. Okay? Are we continuous between 5 halves and 4? Well, yeah. Okay? We're discontinuous. We'll be discontinuous at 1, at x equals 1, but from 5 halves to 4, it's going to be continuous. So we can check off the first thing. Yes, it is continuous. Okay? So now, even not thinking about the graph, let's just kind of sketch a quick little picture just to kind of get our minds wrapped around it. So we know we're going to be between 5 halves and 4, and the function is going to do some stuff, okay? So let's just say the function's going to go something like that, okay? We don't know. So it says, explain why the intermediate value theorem guarantees an x value of c between f of c, which equals 6. So we need to kind of figure out something. We want to know if it guarantees a value of f of c equal to 6. Well, the only way to figure that out is we need to figure out what the f of 5 halves is, and we also need to figure out what f of 4 is. Okay? So once you know it's continuous on the interval, now you need to calculate those values. So let's put 5 halves squared plus 5 halves over 5 halves minus 1. And let's use our calculators to actually calculate that value. So I'm going to plug in 5 halves is 2.5. So I'm just going to use that. I'm going to close my parentheses, 2.5 squared plus 2.5, and that's in the numerator, divided by 2.5 minus 1. That's in the denominator. Oops, I forgot to put in my parentheses. Always remember to put parentheses in there, and that value is 5.83. Now, you also need to plug in the value of 4. So let's do 4 squared plus 4 divided by 4 minus 1, and that equals 6.67. So, why does it guarantee that there's going to be a value of 6? Well, is 6 found between 5.83 and 6.67? So, the key is, since f of c equals 6, and it's between f of 5.5 and f of 4, then there is a c value between a and b. And if you think about it, it's going to go like this, and there is going to be some value between those two numbers. So you need to always make sure, first of all, that it's continuous on the interval you're working with. And then the next thing we had to do is we had to figure out is if that 6 is found between f of 5/2 and f of 6 of 4, which it is. So that means that it will be in there. Now, they want us to find f of c. So what you have to do is you need to go through and you need to do x squared plus x equals x minus 1, and we have to set that function equal to 6. So if you're going to calculate what the c value is, we need to figure out, and remember, the c value is this x value somewhere on here, so we need to figure out what x is. So let's multiply by x minus 1. So we're going to get 6 times x minus 1. And now let's just start doing some of the math. So let's distribute the 6. X squared plus x equals 6x minus 6. Now get all of the numbers over to the other side. So we have x squared. We're going to subtract 6. So x minus 6 gives me negative 5x. And then I need to add 6 over to here. So I'm going to add 6, and I need to get it equal to 0. Now, you should all remember at this juncture that once you have x squared equal to 0, you can factor. So I'm going to just factor on this side. So we have x, and I need to get a negative 5. So what numbers multiply together to give me positive 6? But give me negative 5, and that would be negative 3 and negative 2. Okay, and that gives me 0. So what are my key x values? My first one, x equals 3. My second one is x equals 2. Okay, now here's the thing you need to think about, though. Only one of them is correct. Which one is it? Well, the one that is correct is x equals 6, or x equals 3, because it's the only one found between 5/2 and 4. The other one, x equals 2, is before the 5/2. So our final answer for this one, C, is x equals 3. Okay? So that's how we use the intermediate value theorem. That is about as complex as the problem will get. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you a